I've identified 10 of the biggest questions related to running a clothing brand as a clothing brand entrepreneur or fashion entrepreneur. And I'm going to answer them and just talk about them on video today. I think they are important for people to know, whether they're just starting a brand or they've been running a brand for a few years like me. I think I have some pretty good tips. So I'll try to relate all of my answers to my own experience running a brand. Speaking of my brand, I run a brand called Pathos of Things. You can check it out, the link in the description. The first question that I always get asked is, how much money do I need in order to start a brand? The answer to this question is definitely dynamic and not very straightforward, so bear with me. Your budget depends on so many factors, including product quality, whether you're ordering inventory or doing print on demand, in branding, which includes getting the logos made, photo shoots, things like that. For the absolute leanest minimum approach, I would not go any lower than $1,000. Anyone that's taking a business seriously is going to need at least $1,000. If you don't have that kind of money to start a brand, save up for it. Starting with $1,000 will allow you to get a couple designs and samples made for some garments. And maybe you spend a couple $100 paying your friends to model and take photos and videos for your drops. If you are making merch, doing the print on demand method is totally viable, starting with something like $500 just to test an idea. But if you're really trying to start a custom brand with its own aesthetic, $500 is not going to be enough. Getting one sample made for a pair of denim in Los Angeles is $500 just for the sample. If you're doing any kind of premium or custom collection that is more than just hats, t-shirts, and hoodies, I recommend starting with between $10,000 and $20,000. For bigger campaigns that include e-commerce photos, editorial photos, e-commerce videos, and editorial videos, I spent up to $10,000 on one shoot. And that's with homie discounts and working with peers. Typically, getting samples made for products in China costs about $100 a sample. So if you're trying to go lean, spend that $100 on the sample, shoot photos and videos on your phone, maybe pay someone on Fiverr $15, $20 to edit the photos, make them look a little bit more professional, put those up on a free Shopify theme. You're working within that $500 budget range. The way I kept my brand afloat for years before it started making any money was by financing everything out of my own pocket from my day job. So I was working at 2 different full-time jobs in the marketing industry and in the music industry. I paid my rent and then put pretty much all of my other money towards my brand. Big question number 2. Do I need to know how to sew or design clothes to start a clothing brand? The short answer is no. I'm sure a ton of people are going to disagree with me about this. I get a ton of comments, especially on my TikTok videos, of people really disagreeing with me on this topic. But if you are a CEO, brand owner, or creative director for the brand, chances are as the brand grows, you're going to outsource or hire for various roles, including a pattern maker or atelier, and you'll work with various manufacturers that will handle all of the cutting and sewing for you. I consider myself to be a bit of a hybrid, what I'm calling neo-fashion designer, where I know how to create fashion drawings. I can start rough ideas in a platform called Clo3D, which allows me to create custom patterns with computer software rather than needing to order physical fabric and cut and sew physical fabric, which usually ends up resulting in wasted fabric, which is a waste of money for me and it's not great for the environment. So I use this tool, Clo3D, to create zero waste ideas, and then I outsource the pattern making and grading to a Clo3D atelier. If you want to see more or learn more about my process, you can click the link on the screen. I have another video about this on my channel. If you do not know how to cut and sew and design, you need to have a sense of taste in what you like, and you also need to develop the skill of delegating. You need to be able to communicate your vision to a team or a small group of people or even one person, a freelancer, like a Clo3D atelier. The better you are at communicating your vision, the easier it will be for these team members to execute their job and then make sure that the product is the best possible quality and as in line with your vision as possible. Big question number 3. How do I find a reliable manufacturer or supplier? When I first started out, I tested several manufacturers through Alibaba. I know that some other designers trust Thomasnet and Makers Row, but I personally don't use those. Some designers in LA source all of their fabrics in the fashion district of LA, and then they have an atelier in downtown LA sew the garments for them. But for me, my workflow is I create designs digitally, I send them to an overseas manufacturer, they cut and sew all the garments for me, they ship it to my warehouse. The warehouse is linked to my Shopify store, so anytime someone makes a purchase, the warehouse gets notified, someone at the warehouse will then pack and ship the order for me. For third-party logistics, which includes the warehouse packing and shipping, I use Pietra. Pietra is a good place to find manufacturers, similarly to the process on Alibaba. I personally don't use Pietra to find manufacturers for my garments, but I did use Pietra to find a manufacturer for all of my brand's packaging. So the poly mailers, the tissue paper, the unboxing experience, everything related to the unboxing experience is done by a supplier named Yoko, and I found them on Pietra Studio. Big question number 4. How do I create a strong brand identity? I have quite a few videos about design systems and brand identity on my channel. I'll link those here. I highly recommend checking them out. But for this video, a strong brand identity comes from consistent logos, typography, colors, brand name, brand messaging, and design aesthetic. I like to lump all of these together into what I call a design system. I have a video about design systems, and I also have a video about brand style guides, which combines all of the logos and typography standard operating procedures from the design system with aesthetics and colors. If you have multiple logos, that can become confusing for the customer. Even if it's not in the forefront of their brain, the disconnect between the two logos is going to make it harder for them to recognize. And then there's a weaker bond there. There's a weaker connection between the customer and your brand. Where if that customer saw the same logo twice, that would really reinforce the image of the logo in the brain of that customer. The more consistent you are and the more a customer sees that consistency, over time, you end up building a very strong brand identity. Big question number 5. What's the best way to market my clothing brand? There are 4 main ways that you should market your clothing brand: social media, email marketing, collaborations and partnerships, and paid ads. Social media includes long-form video, short-form video, and photos. Email marketing nurtures an audience that signs up for something, otherwise known as a lead magnet. For example, a discount code with a style guide or a discount code with a lookbook. Someone wants that, and you give it away in return for their email address. An email autoresponder system like KLAVIYO will log that person's information and then automatically send them the deliverable. Then a welcome series is triggered where multiple emails are sent providing more information about the brand, behind the scenes looks, exclusive videos, things like that. This is considered the nurturing stage. Collaborations and partnerships include influencers and brand collaborations, and paid ads are paid ads. I'm sure everybody knows what paid ads is at this point: Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Google ads, things like that. Big question number 6, how do I price my products? The most simple way to figure out the price for your products is by calculating the cost of goods sold. This includes materials, packaging, labor costs, etc. Then apply a markup that covers your overhead and leaves room for profit. Premium and luxury brands usually account for a 4 to 5x markup. Big question number 7, what legal steps are necessary for starting a clothing brand? You're going to need to do a few things. First, you're going to need to register your company as an LLC. I used LegalZoom for this. Number 2, you need to trademark your brand name and logo. This protects your IP or intellectual property. Generally, you're going to need a basic understanding of contract law for working with freelancers. Usually, if you're working with Alibaba or found a manufacturer through Pietra, the contracts are taken care of, especially if you pay for trade assurance. If you're hiring freelancers on Fiverr and Upwork, same kind of thing, they're going to handle those contracts for you. But if you are working with manufacturers and freelancers outside of one of those marketplaces, having an understanding of contract law is really going to help you out. So you don't get screwed over if you have a piece of clothing that a freelancer helped you design and then it really pops off and then they come after you like, oh, I need 50% of all the money you make. And then you're like, no way. And then they threaten to sue. It's a nightmare. Just make sure that you have contracts signed. Even if it's just a one-page agreement, just make sure that you're protected. Big question number 8. How do I order inventory without overstocking or running out of products? The easiest way to make sure you don't run into this problem is starting with small bulk orders. As low of an MOQ as your manufacturer will let you go. In my case, it started at 100. I had to order 100 pieces per color for a bulk order. But after working with the manufacturer for a while, I developed a relationship with them and they allowed me to start with 50 piece minimum order quantity for new capsules and collections with a little bit of an adjusted price, but it's still very cost effective for me. So whenever I'm launching a new product, I always start with 50 pieces. I don't want to go over that. I don't want to get stuck with any inventory if the product flops. And because then I have to run more ads to sell them, which then eats up my profit margins. Shopify has built-in inventory management tools, which is amazing. I also track inventory in Airtable. If you don't use Airtable, you can use Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. In the future, I'll likely upgrade to using a platform like CN7, but that's usually for enterprise brands that are moving tens of thousands of products every month and they're in separate retail locations. I know they have some awesome AI tools built in, so I'll definitely look into that in the future as I start scaling the business. Big question number 9, should I sell strictly e-commerce in retail locations or both? Pretty much all new brands start with just e-commerce. And that's what I recommend to you if you are just starting a brand. I currently only have my brand online. You can't go to a retail location and buy it anywhere else other than my online store or from me in person. I use Shopify for all of my e-commerce solutions. I plan on expanding to having pop-up shops. That's what most brands do once they start to really build a little bit of a following and they're making sales on their website. They'll do events and pop-up shops around specific capsules. I'm going to be doing more pop-up events. The next step after that is retail partnerships, getting your clothes in a retail location. However, I recommend waiting as long as you can for this. Getting in a low-quality boutique that sells a bunch of low-quality brands will affect the brand image. Online stores typically have lower upfront costs than having a retail location or just doing pop-ups, but you need to know how to make content and do digital marketing to drive enough traffic to make sales. You could have the coolest clothes in the world, but if you only sell online, you have no social media presence and you don't post anything, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's even going to see it. Big question number 10. How do I stand out and make my brand unique in a crowded fashion market? The most simple answer is you need to establish a unique value proposition. What makes your brand cool, special, or innovative? It could be sustainable materials. It could be you have very exclusive and unique designs. It could be that your clothing fits a very specific lifestyle aesthetic. Whatever you decide, it needs to be unique to you and you can't just be copying another brand or another person. Because your story and the brand community you build around your story are key differentiators. For me, in 2025, I'm planning on doing more limited drops and catering the content to a specific aesthetic and customer. In the past, when I made anime streetwear, e-girls and Twitch streamers and fans of anime were the only people that wanted to buy my clothes. A couple years later, when I did collaborations with underground rappers, the audience that resonated with that content was pretty much only fans of underground rap music. So those are 10 answers to the most burning questions related to starting a clothing or fashion brand. If you learned something new or enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video, please leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.